Welcome back, everybody. Excited about this week. Yeah, we've had a couple of holidays, weekends, and it's been quite busy trying to get guests on the show every Friday. So we're going to have a solo podcast again this week, but I'm excited about this one because it's a topic that's very close to my heart, and I'm sure it's one that you, as our listeners that are listening to this, and high performance people would love to hear about, and that is you different, so now what? Yes, what does it mean? You are changing, you are improving as a human being, as a mining professional, as a technical person, as a leader of people, and you're growing all the time, you're getting better at what you're doing. And because you're getting better, your team and your people around you will experience those changes. They would wonder what's happening with Christo. Why is he different? And it's like we can never get to really understand where he's coming from or she's coming from, and how do we deal with all of these changes? And how do you communicate to your team what's happening to you? All right, so it's all good. It is the natural growth of us investing in ourselves, development, our self-development, our self-learning. So we're going to talk about 4 key things today. Number 1, you're going to tell your team what's happening to you, where you are on this journey. Number 2, you're going to ask them for help. Number 3, you're going to ask them for feedback. And finally, you're going to show them that you're listening. All right, so that's pretty simple. Yes, it's not that simple. So let's talk about the detail of this. Have you made some radical shifts in your life? Yes, the answer is yes. I know you have. You've changed your thinking because you are reading, you're listening, you're developing, you are getting lots of information to grow and develop yourself. And because of that, you are making radical shifts in your life. And because you're making the shifts in your thinking, these shifts are also coming through in the way that you act and behave with your team and with people at the workplace. Now, how does your team experience this? And that's really where we're going to jump into the first point of tell them what's happening. Now, when I say tell them what's happening to you, it can be a very dangerous thing. It's like giving a child a loaded gun. You don't want to share too much and you don't want to share too little. And because of that, you have to be very, very clear and think clearly about what you're going to share with your team. Let me make an example of my own life, which is, I think, more practical about that. So at one stage in my career, we were pushing hard to change the business. I was in a different country. I really felt called in my heart of hearts to be at the mine at this place. And I knew that I had a lot of passion and commitment to help this place succeed. But things just didn't work out the way I wanted it. So I was putting the hours, I was putting the effort in getting this mine to perform really well. But it just didn't work out the way I was hoping. After about 2 years, I was very close to a panic attack, an anxiety attack. And there was actually at a particular event, I had an anxiety attack. I just couldn't handle the stress. And for me, it was a very key event in my life, a significant event where I had to go home and reflect about it. And as I was reflecting about it, I realized that I'm trying too hard. Yes, I know you are also in some cases trying too hard. And I sort of had the awareness that obviously pray, no, obviously, but I'm a person of faith, so I was praying about it, and I had the awareness that, I wasn't opening myself up to people, colleagues, people of the corporate office that are giving me hints and guidance as to what the possible solutions are. I was just trying to do everything myself, and I realized then that I needed to open up to external help, external people that know a lot more than I do and that can help me, that have actually run this race a couple of times and know the answers. And I started reaching out to them, and they gave me fantastic advice and they gave me fantastic tips. And I realized that we need to implement these tips. And we need to implement these changes at the mine. So when I communicated with my team, there's going to be some changes, I didn't share with them. I had a reflection and I was praying about it, and this is going to be the way forward. I shared enough with them to know that there's a benefit in the changes that we're going to make and why we are going to do things differently and why I'm also going to do things differently. And the team then sort of understood in a better way what we were about and what the vision was and where we're driving. And they also made it their own. And we could actually make some changes, significant changes, and that sort of helped us to get the mine on a much better status, and eventually we solved a lot of our problems. So when that first point of tell people what's happening, my telling them what was happening is that we're not performing the way we should be, and these are the things that I've spoken and consulted with other people about, and they have recommended we follow these steps, and I got their input, and that's how we solved it. Another example of tell people what's happening is I asked one of my colleagues that was a peer to me, but for the global business, for some feedback. He was quite regularly at the mine site, and every few months he would come for a week and he would participate in our meetings and sessions. And I asked him, I said, his name was Richard. I said, Richard, would you mind giving me some feedback? What do you think I'm doing well, and what do you think I can improve, and where are my blind spots? And then he shared something with me that to this day has been a fantastic bit of feedback and has helped me quite a bit. And he said, Christo, when you are asking for people's opinions and for their input, don't mention your own ideas first. Don't mention your own plans first. Let them speak and you be the last one to come up with ideas and plans. And I thought that was quite profound. And it also then, and the reason why I said that is because you're the leader of the team, they would sort of believe that your idea must be the one that must be implemented. So they're not going to feel free to mention their own ideas and input. And I thought, wow, okay, that's really smart. And I started changing. And I shared with him, which, that we're going to run the meetings a little bit differently. And when we get into problem solving mode, I really would like the team to first come up and mention their stuff, because I don't want to overpower the meeting. And I shared with him why this is happening. I said, well, I think on a personal growth perspective, I've been just too much in your faces, and I really would like to step back and listen a lot more and get you to express and have your own ideas, and give you an opportunity to raise problems that we can solve, or raise solutions to our problems. and that it really helped us. And yeah, so that's another example. Moving on to point number 2, and I've mentioned this: asking your people and asking people for help. So when you realize you've got a blind spot, or when you realize that you can improve, ask them for feedback. Ask people to say, look, I think I've picked up this and that from myself. I'm speaking too much, and I don't give everybody an opportunity to raise their concerns. Would you help me to address this blind spot? Would you help me, because I know it's been with me for so many years that leopard doesn't change its spots easily. So it would really help me if you can help me to start changing my behavior in this sense. If I'm overpowering the meeting, just give me a hint, or just tell me, Christo, can you allow us some time to reflect and give you feedback before you just go and say your bit. And it's great to ask people for help. When you do that, when you ask people for help, as you are changing and growing as a leader and as a professional, people realize that you are human and that you are like them, growing, and like you are just human, and that they appreciate that. And then the third one is asking for feedback. Is now that you are starting to change behavior and you're trying to change your spots, ask people for feedback. Say, how is this going? I'm working at this. Is this better? Am I growing? And, how do you experience this? And they will give you that feedback, but you need to ask for it. You need to be, and it's brutal. It is brutal that I'm sure you've had feedback that you didn't appreciate and you weren't ready for it. My wife and I always have this internal, intimate, private joke, with not a joke, but the reality in our own relationship, that we can share with each other some constructive feedback. And we approach it always by saying, I've got something to share with you. And then, oh, geez, I stuffed up. I need to prepare myself. And if you're not in the mind space, in the space ready in your heart to actually receive that negative feedback or constructive feedback, you can then tell your partner, look, I'm not ready for it. Can you give me about 2 hours? I just want to finish what I'm busy with, or, just you're not in the right mind space to actually get that feedback. And then when you're ready, you must go back to that person and say, look, I'm ready for this conversation now. Happy for you to engage and give me some feedback. And when you ask for feedback, be in the right space in your mind and heart to really receive it, and really be in a good headspace so that you can receive that feedback and then go and think about it and do something about it. Which brings us to the final point for today, is show them that you are listening. When you get that feedback, when you are changing and you are asking people to help you change and explain to them why you're changing, it would be great if you can show them that you are listening to them by not just talking about the fact that you are changing, but actually living that change, but actually showing in your behavior and your actions that you are becoming a better human being and a better leader. And they will appreciate that. It's no use we ask for this feedback and for what they will help us with if we don't end up changing. That is it for today. So to recap, if you are becoming different, you're making changes in your life, you need to do 4 things. You need to tell your team what's happening, not too much, not too little, but tell them what's happening. Why are you changing? Ask them to help you to change your spots as a leopard. Ask for their feedback, and also show them that you're listening by changing your behavior and rewiring those thought patterns and the way you are doing things, so that they can see our leader is really serious about making those changes. If you are enjoying this podcast, please tell us, and please reach out The website is www.theminingcoach.com. We would love to hear from you. You pop me an email or pop me a text message. You can direct message me. The number is there on the website. If you need some one-on-one coaching, we do supply those services as well, and mentorship. We've really had some really good feedback from people that have used that opportunity, and we hope to have a guest back next week. In the meantime, enjoy your mining. Cheers for now.